Now that I've got my exposure set, I've got my colors kind of locked in, the final thing I'm going to do is to crop my image. And sometimes you don't need to do this. Again, especially if you're photographing for an editorial context, you probably don't need to crop. But I like to crop into my images in many cases in order to be able to, really highlight the part of the food that I wanted to focus in on. And in order to do that, I'm going to press the R button. And that allows me to go into the cropping mode here. So press R on the keyboard. And I can then start to drag my crop points. And it's going to keep my aspect ratio, which is nice. So you don't have to worry about a crushed image. Now, I like to try to get rid of the edges of the plate in a lot of contexts. I don't think it adds anything to have that in the image here. So I can crop into this image, really highlight the food. You can still see enough of the plate to frame it. And we get this, this really nice composition ultimately where it's sort of zoomed in. Another alternative way I could crop this image, I could really focus in on the texture of the salad itself. I'm doing a super detailed view there. And again, I'm just pressing the R key to come in and out of this. So I'm going to go in and crop, and then when I'm satisfied, I press the R key again to come out of the cropping mode. I'm going to keep a bit more of the plate. I'm going to go for this composition where the plate serves to frame the food a bit on here. And I feel good now about that crop. Now, I like to crop last in a lot of cases because I want to sort of see the totality of the composition with the colors and the exposure before I crop. And if there's a part, for example, that's problematic from an exposure standpoint, and I just can't get it looking good, then maybe I'll crop the image so that I'm not sort of highlighting that part. So the crop, often it's nice to do that last. Sometimes I'll do it first if it's really obvious to me what needs to happen to an image, but it's nice to sometimes save the crop for the end, and you can choose based on the other changes you've made and edits you've made exactly what part of the food you want to highlight. Again, keep in mind what is and is not in focus here. So I don't want to crop, for example, into this part of the image. It's sort of mushy and doesn't look focused correctly. It's okay that it's not in focus because the rest of this image is. It sort of draws the eye to the little bits of candied walnut on top of the salad here. But again, if I cropped in here where everything is nicely focused, I get a nice detail view. But if I crop to the areas that are unfocused and in shadow, I don't end up with a very nice looking composition on this. So I'm going to go ahead and crop, try to get a nice balanced frame around here. And now I'm good to go. I feel really good about this photo. And I think this is probably where I would stop in most cases, but we'll talk a little bit about some more advanced tweaks you can make as well.